So I'm gonna start with the ground connection. A little temporary run I had underneath the seatbelt bolt, but I need 2 of these connectors going in there, and I didn't see any way of getting that in there without having it stick up too much. And I don't want to compromise safety of anyone that's using that seatbelt. One of these runs, it's going to replace that temporary run that I had, and the other one is going to be going back here, and that'll be going to the amp that's going underneath the seat. Pulled out this blank spot and I want to put the bass knob in it. Had to do a little bit of modifications. Took the casing apart, pulled the board out, and I'm just going to drill a hole in the middle right here and then run this through. I'll probably end up finishing this to where I have powered everything and I got the stereo going. Then I'll probably take a break from the project, take care of a couple other things I wanted to get done. Maybe make a few videos on that. Got some stuff to work on with my wife's car over there. But I'm gonna go ahead and get this wired up, get the processor going, and then have some music in here. Ended up having to do a little bit of rewiring. I got the reverse wire harness and the other stereo harness, and when I was wiring them, meant to connect the accessories wire to this blue wire here, which was basically the remote turn on for the processor. I had it connected to the power antenna wire, so the processor wasn't turning on. And then another issue I ran into, this orange wire here was for the illumination. Whenever I had the head unit on and had the lights turned on, the buttons on the side of the stereo, like the ones that show up over here, those were really dim. So I had to get that reconnected. And the aftermarket wiring harness doesn't actually have this wire coming out of it. So I used one of these spade connectors, cut one of these pieces off so it looked like that. And then I put that piece in to the connector over here. I have it taped up now so it doesn't come out, but it goes in the connector like that. So I just have to tape this up, get it all nice looking, and then I should be done back here. I was able to get the relays wired up. They're not all being used right now. So what's basically happening when I turn the stereo on, the stereo turns on the audio processor, and there's a remote out coming out of that, and that's what connects to this first relay. So when that relay triggers, then it supplies power to the rest of these relays, triggering those. I was able to get all my gains adjusted using the DD1. I might end up turning the gain down on the amp for the subwoofers. It's just a little bit louder than I really wanted it to be. More than likely I'll end up doing that after I get everything wrapped here in vinyl, or however I'm gonna do it. Now one thing I didn't do yet is the time correction, so it really doesn't sound as good as it's supposed to right now. Also using a RTA to adjust all the levels. I don't know if you can hear this on film, but it sounds really good when you shut that door with that deadener in there. Yeah, I definitely recommend doing sound deadener if you do any build really, but this truck especially, it just sounded really hollow. Spent a lot of time doing the deadener on the doors, but I think it's worth it. Actually without the subwoofer on. I have it turned all the way down right now. Sounds pretty good. I don't have the tweeters in yet or the mid-range speakers, so it's kind of lacking up front. So I'm gonna stop somewhere and do a little bass demo real quick. Got the seats back up. And right now I have the bass turned all the way down. yeah, those woofers definitely exceeded what I was expecting. It hits way better than I thought it would, but I'm not really one of those people that's all about bass all the time. I'll work on those tweeter pods whenever I get to it, but I got a couple other things I'm gonna post for my wife's car. So just stick around for those and just stay tuned for the next videos on this build. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.